Good morning, this is Dwayne, and today we'd like to talk about some ways to embed chord substitutions, I'll call them chord subs, in the 12-bar blues. As you know, the 12-bar blues is a definite format that's used in music all the time, and musicians from time immemorial have improvised on those 12-bar blues. Let's take the format, just to review the format of the 12-bar blues. 12 measures that are repeated over and over again. Let's say that we're in the key of F, based on the scale of F, playing the blues in F, okay? So we would have 4 bars of the 1 chord, then we'd have 2 bars of the 4 chord, come back to the 1 chord for 2 more bars, then we go up to the 5 chord for 1, the 4 chord for 1, and then back to the 1 chord for 2 more, okay? So it goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, and we start over again right there, okay? So 12 bars that always follow that pattern of 1, 4, and 5 in that particular order, okay? Now, that's wonderful, but it gets a little boring, so we need to do some substitution work, chord substitution, simply to make it a little more interesting. So what we can do, for one thing, is use half-step slides. As I go, say, from the 1 chord to the 4 chord, as I go from the F chord to the B chord, I think what I'm going to do, I can either slide up from A to B flat, or I can slide down from B to B flat, okay? So I think I'm going to slide down. Watch now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right at the end of the 4th measure, I slide down from the B chord to the B flat chord. So this is measure 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, slide 10, 11, 12, and then start again, okay? Now if we can slide into 4, then we can also slide into 1, couldn't we, when it's time to go back to 1? Okay, so let's say I'm on B flat on 4. Slid down from G flat to F. Step down, okay? I could also slide down from, as I go into C, couldn't I? As I'm going from the 1 chord to the 5 chord. Whoops. Like so. Just go a half step above and slide down, okay? Now another thing you can do is use a suspension to change the feeling a little bit. In other words, when you play the 1, usually the 7th is always included in every chord when you're playing the blues. In other words, it's not just a 1 chord, but it's a 1, 7, 7th degree of the scale. When you're on the 4 chord, you include the 7th. When you're on the 5 chord, you include the 7th, okay? But if you make a suspension out of it, there's the F7th chord, but what if I make a suspension? Suspension is where the 4th takes the place of the 3rd. And I use that feeling, okay? Same thing on F. Same thing on back to F. Same thing on C. Fagan is he uses a great deal of those suspensions when he plays the blues, and so it is a little different feel than you'd normally get. Okay, so there's 2 things you can do half-step slides and suspensions. Another thing you can do is you can simply ask yourself into what other note what other chord this particular melody note will fit. Let me just play a little bit and I'll give you an idea. I asked myself at one point what other chord that melody note would fit in, and that melody note at that time was F. And instead of fitting in the F7th chord like it normally would, I went to D flat 7th, because F is a member of the D flat chord as well as the F chord, right? So I just substituted that for a minute and then got back to F. Okay. Sometimes you can go up a half step too. Notice I did that on the F7th chord. I took my voicing of the left hand, which is F7th, actually F9th, with E flat on the bottom, G and T, and then went up a half step. You can do that a lot as you play. That's that suspension, that's D flat chord, and then I'm sliding down to C, sliding down to B flat, sliding down to F. Okay, so there's at least 3 ideas for chord substitutions in the 12-bar blues, so that you don't have to use just the 1, 4, and 5, but you can make it a little more interesting. So thanks for being with me, and we'll see you again tomorrow with another piano tip. So bye-bye for now.